Today we're working on an MCU Daredevil action figure from Marvel Legends. We are going for the She-Hulk version of the figure versus the Netflix version. So I'm taking a Netflix Marvel Legends action figure as my base. And what I'm doing is I've already primed the areas of the figure for paint. You can see this gray, that's actual primer, and a lot of the yellow coverage has already been covered over with primer. The primer's been covered over. So what I'm working on now is making this yellow Daredevil in my spare time while I'm waiting for sculpt to cure on a larger commission figure. I've used the primer. You can still see primer on the groin area here. I'm using this, it's a messy desert paint color from Citadel after mixing it up and then diluting it, where I'm actually making it like a milk consistency. I am able to make this yellow that's more of a golden, more realistic, instead of a bright yellow that he's not going to wear on the screen. I'm going off source material from a trailer that only has like a 2-second clip in it. So it's difficult to do, and a lot of this is guesswork. So I'm sure it's not going to be 100% accurate when it's done, but it's the best I got right now at this point without him actually debuting on Disney Plus. So I'm painting with a base brush, standard brush from Citadel, and I am covering all of the primed areas the best I possibly can with the yellow, just to get coverage. Yellow is difficult to paint with, as most people know. I actually hate using it. I wasn't thrilled about even making this figure, but a couple people asked me to do it. They wanted to see how it would look and how it would get done. Some other people wanted to buy one. So I decided to make one. If it's popular enough, someone's gonna want it. So the head, I've started doing more detail work on the head. Here's a completed head from a head cast. You can see that it already has shading done to it. It's the same color, yellow. The eyes have been done. The eyes, what I did is I went with a white, like a bright foundation white from Model Colors. And then the bright white color was then painted over with, to me, a clear red, so that it looks like an actual lens itself. And you can see that reflective quality in it as you hit the light as it moves. So the eyes look like they're glowing. They look like they're actually like a plastic or a metal lens. That worked out really well. And then we started doing deeper shading. You can see the shades throughout there, where it actually has like brown or almost like an orangey color to it. And that's because of this Seraphim sepia shade from Citadel was blended into it. So it comes out like almost like a orangey yellow brown to bring out all the highlights and the sculpt. And that's what I'll be doing to all of the legs and the arms on this figure also once it's done, getting a couple layers of this paint that we're doing now, and then ultimately finishing the painting. This is base coat layer 1. We're gonna probably have to coat it with, I don't know, 2-3 paint coats, because it's yellow, maybe more. Yellow is not forgiving. Definitely difficult to work with, and definitely difficult not to, doesn't want to ever adhere correctly. It just always looks like you can see through it. The only thing I would say is more difficult than yellow to deal with is probably white. And it just takes a lot of time and practice getting these colors to work and getting them to work well. So I'm mixing off camera. So if you're wondering what the heck I'm doing, and I'm not just holding the figure steady, I'm actually blending paint off camera. So as it dries, I'm kind of waiting for the layer to dry, and then I'm adhering the next layer on, so that, and I'm getting in the grooves so that it adheres to the plastic but doesn't stick to the groove where it's creating a problem. It's going to rub off And I still have to do joint prep, I still have to sand, I still have to wash, I still had to do all the normal things we do with an action figure before we start painting it. If you just start painting a figure with paint right out of a jar, you're gonna have some issues that you're not gonna like. You're gonna have results you're really not gonna like. So I've already washed this figure, lightly sanded this figure, primed the figure, and here I am on base coat 1. If you think you can get away with just one layer of painting without sanding, priming, or doing anything else to it, you are not going to be successful at all on that. And I don't like knocking other artists, especially some of the guys that are doing miniature work, but if you're going to do that type of stuff, you don't feel like going through this process, don't do anything that has joints. Stick to miniatures. Miniature painting, they don't have the paint rub issues that action figures have. It's a heck of a lot easier to paint an action or a miniature than it is to paint an action figure, due to the moving parts and the complexities that are in the sculpt. And I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just saying that miniatures don't have those moving parts where the paint is going to rub off the second you move an arm or a leg, because you're not moving an arm or a leg, they're stationary. I may have to actually heat up and take these joints off a little bit, do a little bit more sanding in here, because as I turn it, it is tight, and I don't want to lose any of the paint as I'm moving. And I'm sure it'll continue to be a little bit of a problem for whoever winds up buying this thing. And I really don't want to deal with that, because it's my reputation as an artist, and I want the customer to be happy. I really didn't want to make this figure, but it's one of those things that passed the time while you're waiting for something else to dry. And base coat 1 is done. My yellow sections are done on here. And at this point, I'm going to be waiting for that to dry. I'm going to be moving on to other areas like the chest, the head, and the forearms, and the boots, which will wind up getting black accents and red accents. So I can start doing that stuff while the yellow is completely drying, as long as I'm not touching any of those parts. So that is Daredevil in a nutshell, at various painting stages. So I will have this thing up on eBay right around the same time he debuts on She-Hulk, provided that I get time to work on it. So thanks for checking it out. Feel free to comment below. Check out the KimotaCustoms Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages. Feel free to comment, ask questions, I'll answer whatever. Please like and subscribe to the video. And I will see you guys on the next one, which will probably be a continuation of sculpting work.